Hey guys, so the collection for this week is staying healthy, and while that is the goal for sure, we all know that no matter how hard we try, it just doesn't always happen, right? Little kids get sick and they spread those germs to everybody in the family. So I'm gonna go through some of my own tips for that are kind of like the nurse mom tips for two of the most common things that seem to strike the household. So if your kid has a cold, and especially these younger kids, we can't just give them Sudafed or what's the Dayquil or whatever. We can't give them cold and cough medicine. So what do we do? How do we help them feel better? How do we help them sleep a little bit, get comfortable, and work our way through this? So one of the things that seems to be a huge lifesaver, especially if they're really congested, is saline spray. So whether it's like the boogie mist, I'm a fan of because it smells like grape. It smells wonderful. It's like made by Can Do, I believe. Or you can just get any generic saline spray. A lot of times they'll have a baby version to make sure that you're not going to push it too far up their nose and harm anything. But the kids hate it. But if it means, a lot of times I had to do this when my babies would get sick. They couldn't even breastfeed because their nose were so congested. So if I gave them some saline spray, like a squirt in each nostril, it cleared them up enough that they could kind of breathe through their nose enough to at least eat or to fall asleep. And still, if they're really congested, they have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. So continuing that saline spray is a way to relieve a little bit of that congestion, especially when you have little ones that can't even blow their nose yet. It just kind of gets stuck in there, or they sniff it back instead. So it's a good way to get things out. I also really think that like that baby Vicks helps a lot. I think I'll put a little bit on their nose, or like right here on the upper lip, some on their chest, some on their back. Like I'll put it all over just in case it helps. But inhaling that seems to relieve the congestion a little bit too. So they do have baby versions of those that I still use with my preschooler and my elementary schooler, just because the normal Vicks is really harsh. They don't like the minty smell too much anyway, so this is a kind of a softer smell. And since you can't give them cold or cough medicine, it doesn't mean that you can't give them Tylenol or ibuprofen or whatever you typically give them. And that's going to help, because when you think about it, when you have a cold, you are your head hurts from the congestion. You might be achy if you're running a fever, just in general. So Tylenol and ibuprofen can really help with that. And check with your doctor, of course. Make sure that you have the dosage right for sure. I should put the disclaimer here at this point that I am not a nurse. I am not a doctor. I am just a mom, sharing what has worked for us, but with Tylenol and ibuprofen, usually you can alternate them as well, so that you don't have that period where it's really wearing off and they're feeling really awful. Lollipops are a good one. If you have a kid with a sore throat, or one of those like postnasal drip coughs that's just really barky and dry, sometimes just sucking on a lollipop can help, and can help give them a little bit of relief and soothe their throat and coat their throat a little bit. They do have lollipops that are marketed for kids as an alternative to like cough drops. Whether or not they do anything different than typical Dum Dums, I'm not convinced, but it's worth trying for sure. But it's a good alternative because kids can't really handle cough drops. They're such a choking hazard. It's so easy to just accidentally swallow it, whereas a lollipop, they're used to that. Popsicles, get those freeze pops. Sore throats and coughs, same thing. Anything that you can get in them, plus it's a little bit of liquids, so anything that you can get into them is okay while they're sick. And along the lines of liquids, we are big Gatorade people in this house. Whenever somebody's sick, we run out to the store and grab Gatorade. It seems to be the go-to. Put it in a sippy cup and they'll at least drink that and replenish a little bit. And the same goes for when that dreaded stomach flu strikes the house. We make sure that we have Gatorade on hand. You know, we're not into like, none of us really like ginger ale, so we don't do that route. Yellow Gatorade is my go-to. And the kids seem to like that as well. It works better than red because when they throw up red Gatorade, it is much more of a mess and much more disgusting and stains, and you don't want to get into it. So yellow, and like even the orange seems to work a little bit better. But other things, so when the stomach bug strikes, I usually have I have like old towels that we pretty much reserve for gross things like that. So whether it's keeping it at the bedside, you know, kind of just having it on hand to wipe a face or to catch it if need be. We also have what's belovedly called in our house the puke bucket, and that's what the boys call it as well. And then we're like, I need the puke bucket, which all it is like a little, the little plastic bowl part of an old potty training potty. So we don't have the potty anymore, but we kept that little plastic insert because it's a good size. It's just small. We can take it with us if we need to. And they know that that's a designated spot if they can't make it to the bathroom. So we keep that on him with the towels. Something else that I would also recommend, even if your kids are potty trained and up and out of diapers, there's still a little bit of time. If you're having some belly issues, it might be helpful to have pull-ups still in their size so that, you know, if you don't have to change the sheet so many times in the middle of the night, or you don't have to worry about doing quite as much laundry if there's stuff going on. And their belly's just not right, and they don't have to worry about it as much either. So I don't hesitate, you know, if they got the stomach flu, you know, my preschooler, when he got the stomach flu and was having some trouble, I'm like, let's just wear pull-ups today. He usually wears them for night still, but don't you know, don't make it a thing. Like, just let them, you know, then you don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about it. And you can go back to normal stuff as soon as you can. The other thing is, if they're, you know, if they don't make it to the bathroom and they throw up on the floor, on the carpet, on their pillows, on their bedding, well, pillows you can throw in the wash, but if it's on like their mattress or anything like that, baking soda. Baking soda, just let it sit. It like absorbs down in, and then you can actually vacuum up the baking soda that has absorbed a lot of the odor and a lot of the moisture. So that's a really good spot to start. There's a lot of variations on that, so I'm gonna do another post here in this collection as well, where I'll give a lot of those like Pinterest tips, basically collect a lot of pins on this topic so that you can get the specifics, and a lot of other ideas from fellow moms. But like I said, I am not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, but I have 2 little boys and we have had our fair share of illnesses for sure. So hopefully that's helpful, as we are hopefully wrapping up cold and flu season and on to healthier days. But the same thing applies to allergies and stuff when there's any of that congestion. So hopefully that helps. Feel free to reach out to us with any of your own tips. If there's anything that I missed that you know has really, really helped you, we'd love to hear about it. And other than that, stay healthy. See ya.